Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle. Me and my ally here are both playing as the dwarves, and we're facing off against two beastmen. My army composition is 4 dwarf warriors, 2 thunderers, a troll hammer, torpedo, runesmith, dwarf lord, 3 slayers, 2 miners, 2 gyrocopters with brimstone guns. I built an army that is really geared for taking out large creatures, because when fighting against double beastmen, you're probably going to see multiple Gorbals and multiple groups of Minotaurs. My ally here brought 4 Quarrelers, 6 Dwarf Warriors, 2 Dwarf Warriors with great weapons, and an Ironbreaker is going to be their main battle line, a Gyro Bomber, 2 Longbeards on the flank, Thorgrim Grudgebearer, and a Grudge Thrower. I believe that is their army. Then the 2 beastmen here, we have a front line of Gore Herdsmen. We have 3 Bestigors over here. I believe they're being led by, Malagor over here. We also have 2 Gorbals with this army, 2 more Gorbals over here. A front line of mostly Bestigors with some Spearmen backing them up. Again, the 2 Gorbals, 1 group of Minotaurs, and then a generic Beast Lord for the other player. So honestly, also there's a Chaos Spawn right here. So they didn't really go as heavy on the Minotaurs as I honestly expected. I did expect at least 2 Gorbals each. Like, you always bring 2 Gorbals as the Beastmen, because that's one of the best units in the game. I did not expect this many Gore Herds, because honestly, Gore Herds aren't that amazing against Dwarf armies. They don't really have armor piercing. Their melee stats aren't that insane. Their armor is very low. They're, like, I don't think they're really that great in this setup, so I wasn't expecting them. The Bestigors, sure. Bestigors make sense. So over here, I'm going to be sending my gyrocopters to try and do some damage to the Gorbals. Although right now, I guess they're firing at the Bestigors. I think that was probably a misclick. I want them to attack the beasts, the Gorbals as much as possible. My Thunderers should start to fire here at any moment. Maybe not, okay. But the Troll Hammer Torpedoes are going to let loose on these Gorbals. And they're going to charge right through the Dwarf front line because the Gorbals, and get right into my Ironbreakers, where I do have 3 groups of Slayers waiting for them. So we're going to be starting to chase them down with our Slayers. The Chaos Spawn are coming in as well. But again, we have a lot of Slayers here, which are going to do exceptionally well against Chaos Spawn. The main battle line is now been met with the Gore Herds. They're potting into the Dwarf Warriors. But the Dwarf Warriors are pretty good against Gore Herds. The Bestigors, though, that's a different story. You can see these Chaos Spawn, though, surrounded by the Dwarf Warriors, or I'm sorry, the Dwarf Slayers are going to get massacred. The Gorbals, though, they still are going to be a little bit stronger and more durable than the Chaos Spawn. But we did destroy them really quickly. The Gyrocopters are still just firing on these Gorbals as best they can. Meanwhile, over here, the Bestigor herds of this other Beastman player and the supporting Spearmen are about to meet with the front line of a lot of Dwarf Warriors. Tons of Dwarf Warriors. You see the Flock of Doom, right? Flock of Doom from Malagor is being cast, or not by Malagor, by this Breakshin, is being cast upon a lot of Dwarf Quarrelers over there. The 2 Gorbals that were fighting me decide to leave this battle, and they go over to assist the other Beastman player, which is probably smart because they're being surrounded by Slayers, so I'm going to try and chase them with a group of Slayers while the others are going to take out the Cygor that was spawned right in the middle of my army by Malagor, just like right behind my Dwarf Warriors, and that's kind of crazy because I have Slayers like right nearby, and they are perfect for killing Cygors. Meanwhile, over here, I put in some miners with blasting charges to reinforce the battle line, because these 2 miners are my reserve. That's all I have. These Dwarf Warriors doing pretty good at holding off 2 Gore Herds with shields. I get a Devolve. I don't know if it's upgraded or not, but no, it's just a normal Devolve on my main center line here. And you see the Dwarf Warriors starting to come under, or starting to break under the weight of the Bestigor herds that are attacking them. My Gyrocopter is still trying to help against the Gorbals, but man, they are tough. I'm still trying to kill them with my Slayers as well. The front line of the Dwarf player over here is starting to crumble a little bit here and there because of just all of the Bestigor herds and the support of the Gorbals that are repeatedly charging in. You can see the core line was kind of just put back here into a little bit of a clump, and they were surrounded by these Uncor Spears, and the Gorbal got in the middle of them, so they're no longer firing. Just look at that, 3 Gorbals right there is just nasty. Thorgrim Grudgebearer is now trying to just stay away from this Gorbal, which is a smart choice. And more Spearmen just wrapping around the flanks, getting into the other ranged units of my allies' army. And also they're going to be engaging against my Slayers, who are fresh off their victory against the Cygor. My Dwarf Lord, not sure why I didn't send him into combat. I remember sending him into combat. That's odd. Anyway, Thunderer is now trying to bring down this Manticore that was also summoned by the Beastman players, and we have done quite a lot of damage with the Gyrocopter Brimstone guns, and there's just a lot of corollary fire going at the Manticore, so that thing is dropping pretty quickly. You see, my battle line, for the most part, has now kind of crumbled, so I'm sitting in my reserve miners to try and stop these Vestigor herds from getting into the remaining group of our Thunderers, who were taken out a lot by the Gorbals early on. Speaking of Gorbals, they're just still back here terrorizing the other player, along with the generic Beast Lord, doing a lot of work. You see the Corridors here still kind of clumped up. They're going to be able to do pretty good in melee against these Ungor Spears, but again, you do want them to be firing their bows, or the crossbows. That's what they're there for. Now we are focusing fire again on the Gorbals now that the Manticore has been driven off briefly. Actually, it looks like it's engaging against the Gyro Bomber. Another devolve going down from our enemies into this clump of Dwarven infantry. And you can see my Dwarven ally here at this point is starting to crumble. My Slayer is still just trying to bring down a Gorbal, but not having much luck over there. And then meanwhile, my army is, the front line was again kind of torn to tatters by all of the Vestigors. But we are still in the fight, pulling back our Trollhammer Iron Drakes to get some decent shots. Our multiple Thunderer groups are now in a good position to shoot them down. But here comes the Gorbal right into the Slayers. So they're going to start to engage against that fight. My Gyrocopters are now mostly out of ammunition, and they have not yet been managed to bring down a single Gorbal. Gorbal's tough, man, especially with potions. There we go, we finally got one. We got one Gorbal, still two very fresh, one below half health being fought at or shot at by my Troll Drakes, Trollhammer, whatever, these things. Dwarf Lord is now going to experience some pain as the Gorbal is attacking him. I'm sorry, that's the Roosman, not Dwarf Lord. My Dwarf Lord's over here experiencing pain from two Gorbals. Manticore did come back, is now attacking my Gyrocopters, but that's okay because my Gyrocopters have used up all their ammunition, so I don't care that much about them. They're still somewhat useful, especially in the late game, without ammunition, but not that much. This very fresh Minotaur group is now getting into our Thunderers. Not much I can do there. And it's not looking good for the dwarves. Not looking good for the dwarves. You can see the devolve going down, and we are going to then shatter, leaving only the Slayers left to fight. The enemy is still maintaining a lot of their forces, especially when it comes to their Gorbals. And their Minotaurs, man. These Minotaurs with shields took like no damage at all in the battle, which is kind of crazy. But they were over here dealing with my ally. If they were over here, my Slayers would have destroyed them pretty quickly, but that didn't happen. And this enemy player was smart in pulling their two Gorbals out of my fight and going into the ally fight over here because there weren't any Slayers to deal with them over here. I did again send Slayers to go and assist, but they were just chasing Gorbals. It's hard to chase Gorbals. They're fast. They're very disruptive because they do that damn like somersault move into an infantry line and then pop out on the other side. So my Slayer's like, well, shit, we have to walk through these. You just barrel through. So I tried to pin them down, but it's hard to pin down a Gorbal, and we lost that fight. Good game to my opponents and to my ally. Let's take a look at the kill counts. Dwarf Lord 10 kills, not much. He didn't really see much action. I don't remember keeping him out of the fight like that on purpose. I must have just not given him an attack order, which is really weird. Runesmith are just going over the battle, supporting our units. The miners got some okay kills. The front line of Dwarf Warriors, the ones that were just fighting against the Gore Herds with shields, you can see exactly how effective Gore Herds are. The Dwarf Warriors, which are not even really supported by like the Thorgrim Grudgebearer / Runesmith combo, which would make them really good melee combatants, still managed to get almost 100 kills against the Gore Herdsmen, which is really good. The Slayers did, they did alright trying to destroy Gorbals. They got down a Cygor, they murdered those Chaos Spawn instantaneously. But besides that, they couldn't really bring down the Gorbals, which is what I wanted them to do. The Thunderers, they were kind of harassed through a lot of the beginning of the battle, and what was left of them wasn't really able to make much of an impact. The Trollhammer Torpedoes, I was expecting a lot more. They did get a lot of good salvos off against the Gorbals, and I think they also were shooting against the Manticore at one point. The problem is, though, they didn't do enough damage to the Gorbals. I was really counting on these to be the ones that would slay them, but didn't really happen. Gyrocopters with brimstone guns fired all they could, but a lot of shots missed the Gorbals. Again, which kind of sucks, but it happens. And then these Miners Blasted Charges, they did okay against Goreherds. For my ally Book Fair, the Dwarf Warrior line did okay. Thorgrim, 11 kills is not bad. He's kind of like a support / melee hero. He's still pretty good. Dwarf Warriors with great weapons did not get to do too much. The Longbeards, same thing. Ironbreaker's only 8 kills. Holy crap. We'll watch this again in the cinematic view. I'm kind of curious what happened. I'm assuming Minotaurs happened, which is why the Ironbreakers didn't get many kills. And then the Quarrelers, some of them did okay, but they were mostly shut down because the Ungor Raiders went around the flanks and engaged them in melee, so they shut them down. And then the Grudge only getting 17 kills is not that great. And the Gyro Bomber, 22 kills. Hey, that's not bad for a Gyro Bomber. That's about as good as they usually do, I think. Let's see, for the Bestigors, or sorry, the Beastmen, for Kalsir here, 100 kills in their Gorbal, 56 is pretty good. The Bestigors did really well, except for this one. I'm not sure what happened to that one. But these Bestigors did really well. Those Chaos Spawn got murdered. The Goreherd actually did okay here and there. All said and done. And then, oh god, Donald. I don't like this player simply because they want to end themselves out. Anyway, their Gorbals, they were the ones fighting against my ally. I think they still did really well. They had almost all their hit points left. They got a lot of kills. The generic Beast Lord got a lot of kills as well. The Ungor Spearmen actually did pretty well going around the flank and engaging against the Quarrelers and the Grudge Thrower. That was a really good move. Minotaurs with shields, 88 kills, super solid. And then these Bestigors, super solid. So right here, like, my mistake is that I wasn't accounting for Bestigors. I built to kill Minotaurs and Gorbals. If I was... Because, like, I don't usually see that many Bestigors. Like, it's not like facing off against Greenskins. Against Greenskins online in, like, a 2v2 scenario, a lot of times you'll see a Greenskin player just bring, like, 8 Black Orcs. Like, that happens. But, like, I don't really see people bring many Bestigors, because they're not super amazing. So I didn't prepare for it, and I suffer for it. My front line got chewed to pieces by the Bestigor herds while I was too focused on the Gorbals. And, yeah. So, a good pick on our... enemy team there. Let's take another look at the battle, but in a cinematic view. Can't stop the Gorbals, man. Can't stop the signal, Mal. Gorbals are the signal in this case. Yeah, you can see the brimstone guns, they miss a lot of shots against the Gorbals. I guess, like, I don't use them that much, but I guess they're better just for actual clumps of troops, like clumps of, I don't know, some kind of armored cav or something like that, because they miss a lot of their shots on the singular target. So a lot of wasted damage there. Yes! We stopped the signal. 1 of 4. It's always a victory when you see a Gorgo fall, man, because they are so damn durable. It's one of the most satisfying kills you get in Warhammer. For me, anyway. That and, like, bringing down Karl Franz on his Griffin is also equally satisfying. That move is so good. It disrupts so much that can get them out of a bad situation. It's so good. That animation. I don't think there's really much left. Yep. Farewell, Slayer. You did your best. That's so many Minotaurs right there. So I hope you enjoyed, everybody. I will see you all next time. Have a good day.